Hi, welcome to Manas Shield YouTube channel. Before we start, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Let's start the video. If you haven't watched the previous video, I'll link it in the description box, or you can click here. Tensura Volume 20. Chapter 3. The Titan of Shakeout. Ultimate Magic. Adalman jumps onto the back of Wendy, who has revealed herself as a Gehenna dragon. Wendy soars high into the sky as if waiting for her. She has reverted to her original form, the evil dragon form, and is happily scattering her ominous Yoki. Yoki, which would kill a weak human instantly, give Adalman the power to fight back. Adalman glared down from above the battlefield, feeling comfortable. Everything is going well, Adalman said. The lower level undead soldiers have been neutralized by the missiles. They're just waiting to be overrun, but since they are essentially small fry, they should give them credit for fighting the good fight. Nodding his head, Adalman thinks. Well, I'm going to launch an inhumane attack now. Should I give them a warning? No need, Adalman thinks. It would be incompatible with an aggressor. Adalman concluded, and a voice beside him agreed with him. Well, this is not a one-horse race, and there is no point in talking over each other. We should seize the victory, however cowardly it may be, rather than abandoning our superior position and being defeated fairly. It was Gadra who had been following him with flying magic. Adalman laughed, saying that he was a good friend. That's right. I'll release my magic with the greatest flamboyance and surprise the enemy. Then it's a race. Let's see who's better today, he said happily. Gadra answered happily. Then Adalman and Gadra started chanting spells one after the other. Both Adalman and Gadra can now work magic without chanting. However, when it comes to the use of extreme magic, it is more comfortable to chant spells to unify one's mind. Especially in the case of Adalman, he had a firm image that magic is something that is performed by borrowing the work of God. He spins words of prayer as if giving thanks for his good fortune to be given the ultimate gift Necronomicon. Adalman chose a forbidden summoning technique that cannot be used inside the labyrinth. The area of influence is too wide, and the damage is difficult to predict. Adalman chose this magic because he did not have to worry about the damage in this battlefield. Naturally, it is a secret magic that is not known to the general public, and it is said that it is impossible for a human being to use it, even if he or she has knowledge of it. According to an ancient document, it is said that a great magician tried to use it with several people, but failed. The reason for this is partly because it is difficult to control, but also because the process of integrating individual mana did not work. In fact, Adalman was also nervous about whether he would succeed or not, since it was the first time for him to use this kind of magic. However, he chose it only because it seemed to be the most spectacular, so if he failed, that would be a story for that time. Gadra would laugh at him, but he would only unleash a different kind of magic at that time. Adalman, who is so determined, determines the area of influence of his spells without any hesitation. Although mana consumption is high, it is not a problem for Adalman, who boasts a magicule of the level of the awakened demon lord. The preparation for the magic is completed without any problem. Ah, I see, this explains why I don't need to chant any spells. Filled with a pleasant sense of satisfaction, Adalman fully grasps his power. Now, Gadra. This is the ancient and most powerful magic. Tempest Meteor. It seems that once a spell has been successfully cast, a word is engraved in the mind, and the second time it can be cast instantly by simply selecting it. Checking his power like this, Adalman unleashes his magic. At that moment, a super magic circle suddenly appeared in the sky, shimmering brightly, and light poured down toward the earth. Beautiful as a miracle on a starry night, but a terrifying light of death and destruction. This magic is named after the country that Adalman and his friends love. He chose it because you like it, and it has a terrible destructive power that lives up to its name. The magic that the great magicians of the past had wished to achieve had come into full effect in this world. The light that pours down on the earth is a meteorite. Meteorites of more than 1,000 meters in height are filling the earth with destruction. No matter how many titans boasted of their ultra-speed regeneration, it was meaningless if the damage was too severe for them to recover from. The area was too large, and there was nowhere to run. Limbs that tried to catch the meteorite were blown off, and heads were crushed. Giants, which had intended to be overrun by the huge force, were crushed helplessly by the even larger force. Adalman's extreme magic was more effective than he had intended. In a very short time, he had disabled as many as 30% of Dagruel's army. Behold, Gadra. I've already won, haven't I? The meteorite impact had caused a huge explosion. Looking down at the boiling earth, Adalman declares victory. He is surprised at the power of the explosion, which is more powerful than he had expected, but boasts about it as if it were a matter of course. His bone face has no expression, so he is not recognized. Adalman is more than happy to show off to his former rival. However, it is not interesting for Gadra. Now Adalman used summoning magic, one of the secrets of dark magic, which is based on imaginary matter. It is the ultimate magic to create, image, an imaginary meteorite and summon it. The imaginary substance that appears in the world becomes real under the influence of the laws of physics. The effect is temporary, but long enough to destroy the enemy. Why does he remember this kind of magic? This is not holy magic or necromancy, but more like summoning magic, which is more like dark magic, which is my specialty. I'm good at it. Well, I am Gadra, who can't be honest. If he lost because of something outside his field of expertise, he can still make excuses. However, this was a challenge to Gadra. Although he has to admit the power of Tempest Meteor, and he is secretly admiring his best friend's performance, he cannot honestly admit defeat as a master of magic. Above all, Gadra himself has just joined Diablo's team. He wanted to take a shot at something big here. And it was. The survival of the human race is at stake in this war, but it could also be seen as a battle for supremacy in the world. If so, Gadra thought it would be a good idea to gain some kind of recognition. If he did so, at least he would not be abandoned by Diablo. So Gadra retorted in a hateful manner. Spit it out. I'll show you the essence of real magic. With these words, he completes the magic he is building. He is reborn as a metal demon, and now he is able to use the ultimate magic. Gadra makes full use of the ultimate gift grimoire and unravels the knowledge of the origin of magic. The magic that even Adalman does not know is the essence of dark magic taught by Diablo and Ultima. Gadra has been diligently asking for lessons in his spare time. The culmination of his efforts is, come, all who suffer from eternal hunger. Eat them all with your fangs. Nihilistic Parade. The most vicious dark magic. It is a well-known story that the most powerful holy magic is disintegration, which is the ultimate destruction magic against people and objects. It is also famous for the fact that only a few people can use it, but its power is well known. It is said that no one can survive a direct hit. However, there were some drawbacks. The most important of them is the narrow range of influence. Even if it is the most powerful magic against people, it cannot be used against armies. That is the kind of magic it is. By the way, the existence of dark magic, the counterpart of disintegration, was known only to a very limited number of people. This is the dark magic that Ultima and others are good at. Nihilistic banishments. It is a terrible magic that eats up the target by the emptiness that comes out of the hell. Moreover, this magic can expand its sphere of influence. This time, Gadra had set the area of influence to the whole battlefield. He had put all his mana into his Nihilistic Banish, and completed it as a wide area extermination spell called Nihilistic Parade. Just as the surgeon had intended, an extremely large magic circle appeared on the ground and in the sky. Then, as if connecting heaven and earth, a dark discharge began, releasing countless numbers of sunspots. These are the fangs of darkness that devour all matter. This was the forbidden art of dark magic, the manipulation of emptiness, which is forbidden. The emptiness unleashed in this world will not disappear until its negative existence value is reduced to zero. It fills the inside of the barrier of the magic circle that connects heaven and earth, and makes it disappear. It is one of the ultimate magic that could destroy the world if controlled incorrectly. As soon as the magic is activated, Gadra bursts into laughter. Wahahaha. How do you like it? Isn't it great? He looks so innocent and happy. But Adalman was not so happy. Idiot. What are you thinking? What will you do if you fail to control this dangerous magic and it goes out of control? He understood the danger of Nihilistic Parade by the ultimate gift Necronomicon, and his face was pallid with no expression on it. He was screaming. However, Gadra answered without any apology. Because I want to show off too. Hearing this, Adalman becomes weak. No, you don't, he says. He unintentionally expresses his true feelings without any sense of dignity or anything. Adalman was also taken aback by Gadra's childish comment. Indeed, it was hard for Gadra to make excuses, since he was afraid that the world would collapse if he failed to control the system. So, he opened his mouth and said openly. Well, that's all right. We have succeeded. Gadra said irresponsibly, you and I will be fine. Gadra, who showed no signs of remorse, must have been a mad genius even if he was rotten. Recognizing this again, Adalman let out a big sigh and gave up. It was useless to say anyway, and in fact, there was no problem since he had succeeded. The enemy forces had been greatly reduced in number by the two extreme magics, and they were close to being destroyed. Compared to the initial number, they were already reduced to less than half, and in a normal war, they would have given up and retreated long ago. Although the visibility was poor due to Gadra's Nihilistic Parade, they seemed to be on the verge of successfully defeating the enemy. Adalman and his team, who hoped that the war would end as it did, looked at the situation below with bated breath. The result was, Dagruel saw at a glance the danger of the magic. He had been planning to overrun the city as soon as the battle was opened, but the small fry stopped him in his tracks. Then, just when he thought he had reached a stalemate, his troops were reduced by more than 50% by extreme magic. This was a miscalculation on Dagruel's part, but it was not a great loss for him. Although it was kept secret from the public, magic could not defeat the giants. A person who dies by this means is not only out of luck, but also out of ability. They could overlook the falling meteorites with a smile. In fact, he praised it for its magic, and thought of using it to determine who would be qualified to participate in this battle. If it had been an attack such as dropping a huge rock stored in a different space from the sky, I would have judged that it was too destructive to ignore, because of the addition of potential energy to the mass. But instead, Tempest Meteor was an attack by a magically created meteorite, which could be cancelled by the power of giants without any problem. A warrior should not be late in using magic against a group of people. In fact, none of Dagruel's core members or his main warriors ever stopped. That is the right thing to do. However, the magic invoked by Gadra was no good. Because Nihilistic Parade penetrates and damages even the absolute ability of magic nullification possessed by the true titans. With magic nullification, which is an absolute anti-magic guard, it can automatically neutralize all kinds of magic attacks. Because of this ability, the titans cannot be defeated by magic. Therefore, even an extreme magic such as Tempest Meteor could be overlooked with a smile. Those who would die by it were dismissed as immature. Ultima, you spread your forbidden spells so carelessly. Dagruel complained, thinking of Ultima's innocent smile. Only the kings of demons should know the magic of invoking the emptiness of hell. As for the one who would spread it, the one who comes to mind out of the 7 is most likely Ultima, or Rain. Miseria is serious too. Guy, Diablo, and Testarossa, these 3 are surprisingly sensible people, so they are eliminated. Carrera is possible, but Dagruel judged that she should be excluded because she is not good at teaching others. Then, Ultima Rain is the most likely suspect. And the culprit would be Ultima, who seemed to be good friends with the immortal Adalman and his friends. Dagruel must not be happy to know that, though he was right. Besides, now was not the time to be looking for the culprit. Fortunately, Dagruel can handle this magic. With a bitter look on his face, Dagruel raises his hands to the sky. Then he releases his power. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy it.